Hey, welcome back to Algebra 2. All of you that have decided to continue, we are going to review the material that we did just before spring break. If you look ahead here, we have a test coming up this Thursday. It's going to be given to you a little bit different. It's going to be given to you on Delta Math, so that we will limit the amount of problems that you will be able to do. You won't be able to continually do problems. And a little bit different, it closes down at 5 p.m. So for you guys that like to wait till the last minute is now 5 p.m., not 7 p.m. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through 14 problems that are like your Delta Math homework assignment. Let me show you this real quick. So this is the Delta Math assignment that you'll see. And I want to show you something else real quick as you get into your Delta Math assignment. This is the last time I'm going to show you the Delta Math screen. But right here, there's now a watch help video option. So if you get stuck and you don't know how to do the problem, there is a video for each set of problems. So they'll show you the problem, they'll show you rewriting it. So all you got to do is come down here and hit play, and it'll start the video for you. So that's a new option in Delta Math for you. All right, so let's roll through about 14 problems. Hope you have the calculator with you. We will be using the calculator a little bit. So we're going to roll through 14 problems, and we'll let you go on and do your own work, and we'll call it a day. So I have the topic of each of the Delta Math topics already written out here, so that you know where the problem's coming from. So this is, what is the value of log base 981? And so I'm not going to be showing you the Delta Math screen anymore, but what we need to do is set this equal to an x value. We will rewrite this as 9 to the x equals 81. So for those of you that don't remember, the x and the 81 basically are going to switch places. The log disappears, and we have it written exponentially. And so what we're doing is we're just trying to figure out what is the value of x that'll give us 81. So 9 to what power equals 81? So hopefully everybody in the room knows that 9 to the second power is going to equal 81. Okay, so that's the first set of problems that you're going to work in Delta Math. The second level problem, this is a natural log. The natural log, 1 over e to the second. Okay, now a couple of things to add into this problem. One, you're going to probably want to keep that equal to x. Two is, on the previous problem, the logarithm had a base. Here, the base is e. And so that's an additional e, not the e that's hanging out right here. So we'll rewrite this problem. The x and the 1 over e to the second are going to switch places. We will have this little e is going to drop down. That's the e that's right there. Then the x takes the exponent. The 1 over e to the second moves over to the right-hand side. All right, so now we get to make this a negative exponent. So that's going to be e to the x equals e to the negative second power, negative 2. The fraction goes away, and the negative takes its place. And so based on what we see right here, x is going to be negative 2. So that's the first two problems of 14. We'll move into evaluating logs, the third level. And we get a problem that looks like this. Log with a base 243 equals 81. Oops, that is not correct. I miswrote that. That equal sign is not supposed to be there. So that's actually supposed to be log 243.81. So just ignore that part. That equals wasn't supposed to be there. But let's add an equals over here. X and 81. Switch places. 243 to the x power equals 81. Okay. So at this point, we need to look at how, like, what is the base of each one of these numbers. And so 81, if you remember from a chart that we started out with very first in this unit, that 81 was a base 3 number, and so therefore 243 is also going to be a base 3 number. And so if you need to, break out your calculator. 3 to the third power is 27. 3 to the fourth power is 81. 3 to the fifth power is 243. So right here, I gotta move the calculator. 3 to the fifth power is 243, and 3 to the fourth power was 81. Now you gotta keep that equal sign in the middle, right there. So now what you have is an equation, 5x equals 4. And so we get that from here. The 5x here and the 4 is there. Those two things are going to move up here and create that equation. And so we finish that off by dividing by 5, and x is going to equal 4/5. Okay, so that is the evaluating logs. 3 different levels, so it got harder with each level. You got 2 problems in each section. Let's look at what the condensing logs looks like. So here you have 6 log A minus G log C. All right, so they want us to condense it into a single logarithm. And so in the delta math, it appears in the answer, they already have the log set up so that when you're ready, all you would have to do is type your answer here. So the logarithm is already set up so that you don't have to type that part in. They've already got that set up for you. Okay, so condensing. The subtraction sign means to divide. So we're going to have a fraction. We'll have the logarithm, the log, goes out in front of that fraction. The 6 as a coefficient is going to move up to an exponent of a, and so that is on the top, a to the 6th, and then the g is going to move up and be an exponent for the c. So on the bottom, you have c to the g power. So that's the condensing of it. So since they already have the log typed in for you in delta math, all you would have to do is type in this part, the a to the 6th over c to the g power. Okay, all right, 4 problems down, 10 quick problems to go. Let's condense some numerical logarithms. Now, these titles that I have written up here are the titles of the sections within your Delta Math assignment. So what we have here for this problem is 2 log base b 2. So this is a pretty quick problem. There's just not a lot to do in the problem. The coefficient is going to become the exponent. So that's log base b 2 to the second power. And what they're wanting you to do here is actually turn this right here into a 4, because 2 to the second is 4. And so the log base b comes down in front of it, and that's the condensing of that numerical logarithm. So really what they wanted you to do was just take this right here and do the math. And that became the 4 that was down in the answer. All right, let's do a little condensing. I'm sorry, expanding. Do a little expanding of logarithms. Log 3x and squared. Now, big thing you guys messed up on the quiz was about parentheses. So my question would be, which one of these is raised to the second power? And it's only the x. The 3 has its own exponent. If there were parentheses around this, then they'd both be raised to the second power. But this is only the x being raised to the second power. And you have to also ask yourself, what's going on between the 2, 3, and the x? So we have some multiplication going on. And multiplication is going to turn into the addition of logarithms. So we're going to have 2 logarithms, log, log. They're going to be added together. The 3 is in the first part. The x squared goes to the second part. Now, is there anything else we can do? You have any exponents? Well, we sure do. So therefore, that exponent is going to become the coefficient. So to wrap this up, we get log 3 plus 2 log x. And that's the expansion of that logarithm. Boy, my hand's getting messy. These Crayola markers, these washable Crayola markers are messy. All right, next. Logarithmic form. Let's see what this is. Solve for a positive value of x. All right, so we're probably going to need a calculator. Log with a base of x and a big number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like there are 8 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equals 8. And they want us to figure out what x is. So just like we did for the very first problems, these two are going to switch. We're going to rewrite this into exponential form. X to the 8th power equals this big number. 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, hopefully you understand the value of, or numbers like this are just numbers of 10 raised to a different power. And so since there are 8 zeros and the exponent is 8, you could just play with the calculator if you wanted to, but 10 raised to the 8th power is exactly that number right there. So our answer here is 10. All right. So that's halfway through. That's the 7th problem right there. So let's check out what the log form 2 is. Log base 5 x equals negative 2. So they want us to figure out what is the value of x. See if we can clean this marker up a little bit. It is messy. Not like my smartboard markers, huh? They'll make a mess. All right. Do a little rewriting. Logarithm's going to disappear. This is 5 to the negative second power equals x. So if you need the calculator, that's fine. If you don't, that's better. 5 to what? Sorry, 5 to the second power is 25. What does the negative do? Negative turns it into a fraction. So the negative becomes the fraction. 5 to the second is 25. So we have 1 over 25. So just to kind of talk about that a little bit, the negative makes the fraction. And then 2 to the 5 to the second power is the 25. Okay, moving right along. I'm going to solve a logarithmic equation to the first degree. Probably going to have to do a little condensing on here. Log base 6, 5x plus 4 log base 6, 5 equals 5. Again, if you're wondering where these questions are coming from, they're coming straight from a Delta Math assignment. The same type of Delta Math assignment that you guys are going to do for your homework tonight. So I'm not just making these up out of the blue. I'm getting these from a Delta Math assignment. So we're going to have to condense the addition. Tells us that we're going to do a little multiplication. We have a coefficient, so it's got to become the exponent of 5. So it's going to look like this after we condense. Log base 6, big parentheses, 5x times 5 to the 4th equals 5. So yeah, I've got to do this, but I didn't want to do it all at once. So 5 to the 4th power is 625. And then we have this other 5 in here. So we're going to multiply that by 5. So inside the parentheses, you have 3,125. So it's log base 6, 3,125x equals 5. So 5 to the 4th, and you have to multiply that by 5. That looks like this. 5 to the 4th is 625. Multiply that by 5, got 3,125. Okay, moving right along. Got to rewrite it. 3,125x equals 6 to the 5th power. 6 to the 5th power. 6 to the 5th power is 7,776. I'm going to have to move up. I don't have enough room. 3125x equals 7776. So we'll do that division. Divide that by 3125. And you're going to get that decimal. X equals 2.4. We'll just call that 2.49. I'm running out of room. And on that problem inside Delta Math, nope, I thought it would tell you something about a decimal, so it does not. All right. What are we on? Log equation, second degree. All right. Alright, let's see if I have enough room to do this problem. Log base 3, 2x plus 5 plus log base 3, x plus 7 equals 4. Hope I gave myself enough room to work this problem. Alright, got to do a little condensing. So here, you have to FOIL these out. So I'm going to do that foiling, but I'm not going to show you all of the work. So be prepared. Log base 3, 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 7 is 14. X times 5 is 5x. That's 19x. And 5 times 7 is 35. By the way, that's a 5. Equals 4. Okay, time to rewrite. These two switch. That is 3 to the 4th power equals 2x squared plus 19x plus 35. This is 81. So I'm going to subtract 81 from both sides. 0 equals 2x squared. Oh, can't see that anymore. Sorry, guys. So I subtracted 81 from both sides because 3 to the 4th is 81. It's quadratic. So I'm going to take everything over to the right-hand side. 19x and 35 minus 81 is negative 46. So we get to factor and solve. 2x, x, 23 times 2. That's going to be positive, that's going to be negative. 23x, take away 4 is 19x. That gives us the two answers. X equals negative 23 over 2. And x equals positive 2. Now, because we're doing logarithms, you can't take the logarithm of a negative number. So you gotta make sure you plug that back in. If I take the negative 23x, negative 23 over 2x, and I plug that back into this part of the equation, I'm going to get a negative value. So this is an extraneous answer. If I take the 2 and plug it back into here, we're good. So we get a good answer from 2, and that's our only value for that problem. Okay, moving along. Solving a natural log. Got 4 more problems. Solving a natural log. 5 natural log 4x plus 4 plus 4 equals negative 11. Okay, again, I'm getting these problems straight from Delta Math. I'm not making them up on my own. So this, don't forget to use SADMAP. We're going to subtract 4, subtract 4. Five natural log 4x plus 4 equals negative 15. We can divide by 5. Natural log 4x plus 4 equals negative 3. Remember, you have an e, imaginary e down there. So as we rewrite this problem, e to the negative third equals 4x plus 4. It wants the exact value. So we're not going to be using decimals on this. So we will just keep using SADMAT. -4, -4. That's e to the -3rd minus 4 equals 4x. Sorry about that. Divide by 4. And that right there becomes the whole answer. Right here. That's the exact answer. No decimals needed. Okay, don't forget, I am available to you from 11 a.m. Basically from 11 till 2. You just have to ask a question. Now that I have less students to deal with, we can ask more questions. All right, solving an exponential level 1. 2 to the 4x equals 8. This is where we might need a calculator. The directions here say round it to the nearest hundredth. So in order to get rid of in order to get rid of a 2, you have to use a logarithm of like base. So you get cancellation here. That leaves us with 4x. And then you have log 2 to the 8th. And so you're going to end up having to calculate this at some point. So those of you that have the log base in your calculator, you can throw a 2 here and an 8 here, get the decimal. That's 3. Oh, you can't see it. That's 3. So 4x equals 3. We can divide by 4. We're going to divide by 4 because it says it wants it to the nearest hundredth. Hundredth is 2 decimal places. So x is going to equal 0.75. And that's our answer. That one seemed pretty simple. 2 more. Level 2. Oh, wait, hang on a second. Yeah, solving is actually level 3. Let me change this out. I copied something down wrong. It's actually level 3. So we got 9.3 equals 900 with a 0.5 and an x over 7 as the exponent. Okay, divide. Going to have decimals, that's okay. 9.3 divided by 900. So that, leave that in the calculator. Don't touch the calculator, just leave it right there. So as an abbreviation, we have this. And so this was calculated. All right, so like in the previous problem, you've got to use a logarithm to get rid of this. So we will use a log with a base of 0.5. These two cancel. Got to make this calculation. So right here, if you can use your log base formula, it'd be way easier. Your base is 0.5. And this time you want that entire decimal in there. So if you can know how to use your answer key, it's very, very accurate. So you got 6.59. And there's more there, so don't cut that out in the calculator. Leave that there. And that's x over 7. So we will multiply both sides by 7 times 7. And this is going to round it to the nearest hundredth as well. So our answer is 46.18. All right, one more problem. I do not have a header for this because I wrote it down wrong. You guys are being patient. I know this is taking a little bit longer than usual. This is our last problem. 256 to the x plus 6 equals 64 raised to the x plus 1. We kind of saw a problem like this a little earlier. These two numbers are the same base numbers. You could do this two different ways. You can use 4, or you could use 2. So I'm gonna choose to do 2 because it is the most basic of the bases of these two numbers. So let me clear that out. 2 to the second power raised to the second power. Nope, that's not right. Don't do that. 2 to the third power, 2 to the fourth power, 2 to the fifth power, 2 to the sixth power, and so there's 64. So we get this to the sixth, 2 to the seventh power, 2 to the eighth power, and that should be it right there. So there's an 8. So what we did is we changed 256 to 2 to the 8th power and 64 2 to the 6th power. Now you get to bring back in the previous existing exponents. So those just fell down with the problem right here and right there. Okay. Once you have these in like bases, the 2's go away. You don't need these 2's anymore. And you can distribute and solve the problem. 8x plus 48 equals 6x plus 6. And we can solve the problem. Minus 6x, 2x, minus 48 equals negative 42. Divide by 2. X equals negative 21. That finishes out of that. So that's an example how to do each one of the sections in your Delta Math for homework and review for the problems that we did before spring break. So you got those 28 for homework, and then you have a test on Thursday. Opens at 11, closes at 5. You guys have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions. Welcome back.